Absolutely excited to be here. I am in a corner of logistics called freight, audit, and payment. It's an area that's being disrupted by AI. I've been either directly or indirectly involved with freight, audit, and payment for 25 years. I've never seen more activity. So everything's relative. But in our space that handles tens of billions of dollars of freight across all our competitors, there is intense interest, and it's solely related to AI. Can AI disrupt materially what we do as an industry? And so our position in all this is, how do you have a disciplined AI in a freight financial system? With that framing, let's focus on how AI creates the most value in a business like ours. And it may be very surprising, but you derive value. It's the same answer every time for the same input. The same answer every time for the same input. So to give you some context about who's making that argument, Cass Information Systems is celebrating our 120th anniversary. And that may sound kind of strange, but legally, we're a financial institution. We're a publicly traded, federally regulated financial institution started in St. Louis, Missouri as Cass Avenue Bank and Trust. We've been processing freight invoices for 70 years. And I run that division for Cass. It's an area of extreme complexity that we're trying to introduce predictability. And it sounds bad, but just boring predictable. That's where we see the promise of AI. But some people will look at us and say, well, they've been around so long, they're just resistant to change, right? We've been through it all. You look over 70 years, not just technological interruptions, but macroeconomic, most notably and recently COVID. We didn't skip a beat. It was very disruptive. But from a technology standpoint, changes in computing, the internet, EDI, machine learning, OCR, everything has changed the way we do things and made us better. Even blockchain. Blockchain, we looked at it hard. We were ready. It didn't go anywhere, but I don't think it's dead. But, we had to even look at that. So a disciplined operator keeps aware of what's going on in technology and knows when to go all in. And we obviously, I wouldn't be here if we didn't think this, but AI is obviously real. So I thought to start off how we are looking at AI, we look at first, what do our customers buy? We handled roughly $36 billion of freight last year from the largest shippers in the world. When they come to Cass, they don't want creativity, they want certainty. I have to make correct decisions that impact the movement of billions of dollars of funds every month. That requires certainty, not creativity. Invoices ingested the same way, audited the same way, costs attributed the same way, predictably, and then the payment made on time, all with an audit trail. We get audited a lot. Again, we're publicly traded. We get federal regulators. We invite our customers to come in because there's real money, there's real funds involved. So very important. So having that audit trail is very important to what we do. And when you see why they hire us, you see why we're making a particular stance on how AI creates value for us. We've distilled that down into one phrase, determinism. Determinism is intelligence. Determinism is intelligence. When you're processing, as I stated, millions of transactions a year, the goal is not a clever output. It's not putting, and that's not putting a limitation on technology. That's almost defining what a financial system should be. Very deterministic. You heard it today. I'm not the first one to bring it up. So in our architecture, the deterministic workflow, that's the default. That's everything travels back to this deterministic workflow. The happy path, that clean, straight through processing, highly automated, is the core, the spine of what we are building. And that's, again, 35 million invoices, $36 billion a year. That stays deterministic. And because of that, actually frees us to be even more aggressive as we look to adopt AI in different situations. You protect that deterministic core, and then you invest hard at areas where we think that AI can leverage. So what we don't have is variability. Because even if an LLM, makes one creative decision out of 1,000 decisions, that's not innovation. That's a data integrity problem. And then as that grows and just expounds, it just increases audit risk and compliance risk. So we can't have that. So at volume, variability compounds, as I said, and our CEOs even termed, and if you're going to have autonomous AI and a high volume processing, he terms it the anti-pattern. Or said another way, nobody wants a payment system that feels inspired today, right? Nobody wants a payment system that feels inspired. They want it to be very deterministic. So the disciplined approach, as I said, allows us to go very hard at AI. And then the question is where? Where are we pushing? Where are we focusing? And I've heard themes today, and I'll carry them on to our world as well. Unstructured data is ripe, and it's very exciting to see what we're seeing there because we ingest millions and millions of pages of document packages, freight contracts that we have to digitize and distill, but they all feed that deterministic spine. So we can get creative out here. We can push boundaries to get accurate data capture, to use the latest technology. It all feeds that deterministic spine. Doesn't replace it, it just feeds it. The second one is actually building the systems that we use. We use proprietary software. So the speed at which we can iterate, the speed at which we can stand up new rules, new validations is exciting. It's the fastest I've seen. So the cleverness goes into how the system is built, but determination or determinism stays in how it runs. The third area is managing exceptions. You've heard that today too. So there are tons of exceptions. And when you're touching all modes, all geographies, exceptions will happen. So a single purpose agent in a well-governed environment is an area that we are invested in as well. And we escalate the humans when uncertainty remains. So automation where repetition lives, humans where judgments lives, and a hard line in between. That's our architecture. So here's where we're hanging our hat is the terms 120-year-old company, been processing freight invoices for 70 years. AI is not an agent making a probabilistic decision at every step. It's AI-assisted development of deterministic systems with AI-supported exception handling. So that's what a 120-year-old company, a publicly traded, federally regulated financial institution who is very adopted, very in tune with AI says. So what happens though? At the end of the day, we do this, we hit this hard. What's the result? The result is an utterly boring, predictable system. But it's not a system without incredible impact. We're in the middle of the largest shippers in the world, the largest LSPs in the world. When we can bring them together in an agentic fashion to resolve discrepancies, to move money, they start talking about other things, not where's my money. That's very powerful. The second area is unbelievable transportation data. All the scrubbing, the validation, the cleansing, the normalization, then our shippers get to enjoy that data. And we partner with Sonar, and it's great to introduce their tools to our shippers, and they can access it via our portal. It's exciting. We reduce friction, we fuel better decisions, and then what people forget is we do this faster and faster, continually improving our processes to where that freight invoice, there's alignment between the shipper and the carrier. Yes, that's the right amount to pay. Yes, it should be paid. Then it sits. It sits for 30 days. It sits for 60 days, sits for 90 days. And that's where we can work with both parties and help them what we term unleash capital, right? Working capital solutions. So all this is driven by our investment in AI and our position on determinism. Appreciate your time. Thank you.